Beyond the pellet, the koi feeding ritual you've been getting wrong. You measure the pellets. You follow the label. You feed on schedule. But what if the routine you trust is actually working against your koi? What if color fade, sluggish growth, or recurring illness have nothing to do with brand, and everything to do with timing? This isn't about switching food. It's about decoding the rhythm your koi already live by. Welcome to a new way of feeding. Once you align with their biology, you won't just feed better, you'll keep smarter. Chapter 1. You're feeding your koi wrong, and you don't even know it. Let's get straight to it. Your koi food might be sabotaging your pond. You picked what looked premium. You trusted the label. Maybe you even paid more. But the truth is, koi pellets aren't universally good. They're purpose-built, and many of us are using the wrong ones at the wrong time. Some are engineered for bulking, packed with fishmeal and fat. They're great in the right season, disastrous in the wrong one. Others are rich in color enhancers like spirulina or astaxanthin, useful sparingly, but harmful in excess. And then there are budget pellets, full of indigestible fillers that do nothing but cloud your water and overload your filter. Look closely at what you're feeding. Are your koi growing, or just surviving? Is the water staying clear, or does it smell stale by midweek? That's not your filter failing, it's your food formula working against you. Here's the real problem. Most hobbyists mix everything. A scoop of growth here, some color pellets there, maybe a bit of wheat germ to balance it out. But koi don't thrive on guesses. They need targeted nutrition, designed for their size, water temperature, and life stage. That's why two ponds, using the same filter and care routine, can look completely different. The invisible variable is nutrition. And the secret isn't buying the most expensive brand. It's understanding what's inside and when to use it. So the next time you reach for that scoop, ask yourself, are you feeding based on facts or habits? Chapter 2. Feeding on your time versus feeding on koi time. It's 7 a.m. You step outside, coffee in hand. The koi are stirring. You toss in their feed, just like always. Same time, same scoop, same brand. Feels like a good start, right? But let's pause for a moment. Are your koi really ready to eat? Feeding schedules often follow human convenience, not fish biology. We feed before work, after dinner, or whenever we remember. But koi are not like dogs waiting at the bowl. Their digestive rhythm is deeply connected to their environment, especially temperature, sunlight, and oxygen. Early mornings often bring cooler water, especially in spring or fall. That slower temperature means slower digestion. Feed your koi too early, and food can sit undigested for hours in their gut. It stresses their system, reduces nutrient absorption, and increases the chance of bloating or even infection. Now imagine waiting until mid-morning or early afternoon. When the sun has warmed the pond, oxygen levels are optimal, and your koi are fully alert. That same pellet now becomes fuel, not burden. It's digested efficiently, converted into energy, color, and growth, rather than waste. Consistency matters too. Koi learn. If you feed them at the same time daily, during the right part of the day, they will gather, expect, and engage. The water stays cleaner. The koi stay healthier. And the bond between you deepens. Feeding koi isn't just about what you give. It's about when you give it. Not on your time. On theirs. Chapter 3. When more became too much. I used to think I was being generous. Feeding my koi always felt like the highlight of the day. They'd rush toward me, swirling with excitement, mouths open like little cups of trust. And I'd give in, just a bit more, another pinch, one last handful. After all, they looked happy. Isn't that what mattered? It took a season of problems to realize. I wasn't feeding koi. I was drowning them in kindness. The signs came slowly. Cloudy water. Filters needing constant cleaning. Koi that grew fast, but lost their shape. Some became sluggish. One floated oddly for days, refusing food. I blamed the weather, the water, the filter. Never the food. But the truth was simple. I was feeding more than they could use. And the rest? It turned into burden, on their bodies, on the pond, on everything. I learned the hard way that koi don't need to be full to be healthy. In fact, just the opposite. They thrive on precision. A few minutes of focused feeding is all they truly require. What they don't eat, they don't need. And what they don't need, your pond doesn't want either. Now, I watch the clock, not my emotions. 3 minutes. That's the rule. No leftovers. No foam. No guilt. And surprisingly, the koi are more active, not less. Their colors sharper. Their movement lighter. The water, finally clear. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do is feed less. Chapter 4. When the pond teaches you time. You don't need a calendar to know the seasons, just watch the pond. In spring, the water breathes again. Sunlight stretches across the surface. The koi rise slowly from the stillness of winter, their movements cautious, almost ceremonial. Their bodies are awake but fragile. Feed them gently, easily digested pellets that coax, not force. This is a season of reintroduction, not ambition. Summer arrives like a drumbeat. Warmth fills the pond. The koi ignite with energy. They swim harder, eat faster, and grow with purpose. Now is the time for strength, high-protein feed, rich in nutrients. Feed often, but observe. Growth is a gift, but only when guided. Then the tempo slows. Autumn leans in. The sun softens. Leaves drift like quiet reminders above the water. Your koi no longer surge, they glide. This is the moment to reduce. Transition them to lighter feed, fewer portions. What goes in must match what their cooling bodies can still process. And finally, winter. The pond becomes still. The koi disappear into the depths. You'll feel the urge to feed, to comfort, but don't. Below 10 degrees Celsius, their digestion shuts down. What you offer will only rot. In this season, your care is shown in silence, not scoops. To feed with love is easy. To feed with wisdom is harder. Each season speaks. The koi listen. Do you? Chapter 5. The ones that stay behind. It happened one afternoon. I was feeding my koi like always, sprinkling pellets, watching the rush, admiring the dance. It was my favorite ritual. But that day, I noticed something. One koi didn't join. It wasn't sick, just slow. Thin. It hovered near the edge while the others devoured everything. It waited until the commotion died down. By then, there was nothing left. I realized something in that moment. I'd built a pond for the bold, but forgot the quiet. In every pond, a hierarchy forms. The strong dominate the surface. The weak observe from below. Some are recovering from illness. Some are naturally shy. Some simply can't compete. But feeding time doesn't care. Pellets fall. The fast win. The rest go hungry. That's when I changed everything. I began splitting feedings into zones. One handful for the surface, another beneath the lily pads. I added sinking pellets, soft, digestible, slow. The timid koi found their moment. No rush. No chase. I watched the weak grow stronger. I saw color return. Not from medicine. From nourishment. Some koi may never fight for food. And that's okay. It's our job to feed them anyway. The health of a pond isn't judged by how the champions thrive, but by whether the forgotten are still seen. Chapter 6. You don't feed fish. You shape their world. When you drop food into the pond, it may feel like a small act. But it's not. That scoop of pellets sets off a ripple far greater than you see. It moves biology. It stirs behavior. It builds, or breaks, the rhythm of the pond. And the koi feel it. They remember when food comes. They learn where it drops. They feel when the water helps them digest, or holds them back. And slowly, without words, they shape themselves around your decisions. That's the hidden truth of koi keeping. You are not just feeding them. You are shaping their world. You've learned when to hold back, and when to offer more. You've noticed how seasons speak, softly in spring, urgently in summer, quietly in winter. You've seen the silent ones, those that wait, not because they don't want to eat, but because they're waiting for a chance. And now, you respond differently. Not out of routine, but out of recognition. Feeding has become more than a task. It's become your language. Each meal you give is a sentence. Each season, a new chapter. Each koi, a living response. So here's your code. Feed with eyes open. Feed with restraint when needed. Feed with purpose, not just affection. Because when you understand what feeding truly means, you're no longer just maintaining a pond. You're cultivating a world where beauty, trust, and health coexist beneath the surface. Whispers from the pond. They never spoke. But somehow, you always understood. In the flutter of fins, the pause before the rise. In the silent way they waited. Your koi taught you more than any manual ever could. They taught you patience. They taught you rhythm. They taught you how life beneath the surface moves with grace. Only when we learn to listen. And now you do. You feed not to impress, but to care. Not to control, but to connect. Because every pond has a language. And every keeper becomes fluent when they choose to see with more than just their eyes. So the next time you lift that scoop, remember, you're not just feeding fish. You're feeding trust. You're feeding balance. You're feeding something sacred. This is your code, and the pond will remember.